Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to another question to the same passage, which we find out. And I believe that you all have gone through the text. So, the text gives us the direction that we need to read the text, and on the basis of the text or the passage, we'll find out some question. And on the basis of the question, we need to find out the correct choice on the basis of the information given, right? So let's go for the text, and let me point out this text is giving some idea about the validating the emotion or invalidating or invalidation, right? So on the basis of this particular text, we will find out some question. So, if I talk about that, this particular text provides with a style called as informative and explanatory style, uh, presenting research findings and psychological concepts in a clear and straightforward manner. It uses simple examples and analogies to illustrate key points and employs. You can say that you can point out that persuasive language to advocate for emotional validation, right? So validating their emotions, and you can talk about mental health support, right? There are two things that you would find out: mental health um, supports as well as validating the emotions, isn't it? So if you observe that the tone of that passage, the tone of the passage is nothing but informative, informative, and you can say that empathetic one, right? So empathetic one, and you can also say that persuasive also, persuasive in nature, right? So as it seeks to educate readers about the importance of emotional validation while conveying empathy towards individual experiencing emotional distress. Additionally, it encourages action by suggesting referral to mental health professionals for those unable to provide validation and support. Okay, so let me jump to the question. So, what does the question point out? What is the negative bias? What is the negative bias as explained in the passage? So, what does this question seeks actually? This question seeks to understand the concept of the, you can say that negative bias based on the passage explanation. Let's move to the option. So, and analyze which of the option will be appropriately explaining the negative bias. So, if you talk about this particular text, so where it is indicating about the negative events or negative bias, uh, you can find out in the third paragraph where it is um, giving more details about the negative events, or you talk about describe negative events and describe positive events as well, right? So negative stimuli are generally interpreted as elaborate and differentiated than are positive ones, isn't it? Now, let me take you to the options. So the first option stated that the tendency to be negative all the time. What is the negative bias as explained in the passage? Is it the tendency to be negative all the time? So, or is it talking about the richness and variety of vocabulary used to describe positive events? Or it refers to the preference for positive memories over negative ones? Or the tendency to recall and interpret negative events more elaborately than positive ones? Let's see that. If you go to the first option, so the option one, tendency to be negative all the time, will not be considered as the correct one. It should be incorrect because the negative bias doesn't suggest a constant state. Constant state, isn't it? Of being negative, but rather a tendency to emphasize negative events. Now, if I go for the option two, it is also incorrect as the passage indicates what? That the vocabulary, that the vocabulary for negative events, for negative events is richer richer, and you can say that more varied, not for positive events. So, hence, you can point out option 1 and option 2 both are eliminated. Option 3 stated what? The preference for positive memories over negative ones. So, if you see this option 3, this one is also not the correct one because the negative bias, negative bias entails what? Entails uh, a preference for negative memories, not positive ones, not positive ones. Hence, you can also point out option one, two, three. All these three options are eliminated because they do not explain, they simply go against or called as disrupting the idea. Now, moving to the fourth option, obviously, this is the last one. So, therefore, I pointed as the correct answer because we don't have any other options which will indicate the answer. Look at the fourth option, the tendency to recall and interpret negative events more elaborately than positive. The tendency to recall and interpret negative events more elaborately than positive ones. Yes, this would be called as a more or the most appropriate as the negative bias or negativity bias, as explained in the passage, refers to what? Refers to, you can say that the tendency to recall and interpret negative events more elaborately than positive ones, because this bias causes individuals individuals to focus more on negative experience, negative, more on negative experiences, negative experiences, and to dwell on them, right? And dwell on them. So often leading to heightened emotional responses. So therefore, you can consider option four would be the most appropriate answer to this question. I hope you understood this. That's all. Thank you. Let's move to the next question.